Hey guys, it's Stacy, and today I'm here to do a book tag for you, and I was tagged to do this by Jessi Shelf. She also created this tag, and it's called the book tag. Since she's Canadian, this is a Canadian inspired book tag, so I'm going to have to do this tag pretty quickly because I do have to leave for work pretty soon, unfortunately, so let's get into it. Question number 1 is, what is your connection to Canada? And I don't have a connection to Canada unless, Jessi now, since she tagged me, but I am not from Canada. I am from Tennessee in the United States, very southern state, so I have never even been close to Canada before. My family doesn't travel, so I don't really have an actual connection with Canada. Question number 2 is, talk about a book with red on the cover, and I chose Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is one of my favorite contemporary books ever. This is a little queer romance story about a guy named Simon who meets a boy named Blue on the internet, and they're emailing back and forth, but he doesn't actually know who Blue is. And Simon is not out yet, neither is Blue, and it's just kind of about their story and how they come together and how they, accept themselves and come out, and it's an adorable little romance story. This is one of my favorite contemporaries ever, and I'm so excited for the movie. Number 3 is talk about a book with white on the cover, and I chose Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. This is also one of my favorite contemporaries of all time. This is about a girl named Annabelle who is struggling with something that they mention in the first book, but you don't really know what it is until later on, and it's just about her life and how she comes to terms with this thing that's happened to her. And trigger warning for mentions of rape and an eating disorder if those things affect you. This was a beautiful story though. Annabelle is not the one with the eating disorder, her sister is, but it's just about her and how she really finds herself and how it affects her family and these new friends that she meets, and there's a slow burn of romance in this if you like that. But this book really touched my heart, and I love this book so much, and I already want to reread it, and I highly recommend it. Number 4 is it's maple syrup, talk about a sugary sweet OTP. And I chose Cress and Thorn from the Lunar Chronicles. They're just so cute together. Thorn is one of those, hard bad boy type, and then Cress is this small, soft little angel, and that is one of my weaknesses, is really tough characters that are cold-hearted, that love little soft, sweet little cinnamon rolls, and I just love them. I think they're cute. They're not my favorite OTP in this book, but they are one of the best OTPs. The next question is Poutine. I don't know what that means, but it is talk about a guilty pleasure book or genre, and mine is adult paranormal books. If you haven't noticed, I love adult paranormal books so much. The trashier, the better. Those are my guilty pleasures. Question number 6 is Canada's diversity. Talk about your favorite diverse read. And I went back and forth between which ones I wanted to pick. It was either going to be The Hate U Give or Queens of Geek, and I chose Queens of Geek because I chose this one even though The Hate U Give is one of the best books I've read in my entire life. The Queens of Geek was really personal to me. I related to both the main characters on very different levels. This is about a bisexual main character and a main character who is on the autism spectrum and has severe anxiety, and I have severe anxiety, and I'm a little gay, so yeah. But this book just really hit home for me. It is in my top 5 favorite books now. This book is, and I just love it so much. It was very personal to me, and I think more people should read it because I think it is very relatable, especially for booktubers. But this was great. I loved it. Highly recommend it. Question number 7 is Lacrosse, epic battle in a book, and I chose The Blood of Olympus, which is the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan, and just the ending battle in this book really got to me. He writes some good battle scenes. I also really enjoy the battle scene in the last Percy Jackson book, but this one I really enjoyed. Things happen with my characters, and I love these characters so much, and I love Rick Riordan, and I love these books so much. Next question is 10 provinces. Talk about the 10th book you've read this year. And the 10th book I read this year was Embers and Echoes by Karsten Knight. This is the second book in this trilogy. It's called the Wildfire Trilogy. It is about gods, like reincarnated, so it has a lot of mythology in it. It's a very, I don't know if the representation of these characters of different backgrounds and ethnicities are accurate, but there is a lot in this. Since I am just white, I don't really know if it's accurate, but I do really enjoy this series. I haven't finished it yet, but these books are a lot of fun. You get very attached to these characters. It's a little bit trashy YA, so that's why it's so great, but I would recommend picking this up if you like mythology, because I think it's really cool. Number 9 is 3 territories. Talk about your 3 top favorite books of all time. Like I said, Queens of Geek is one of my top favorite books of all time. It's adorable and very relatable. The next one is The Bone Season. If you're new here, The Bone Season is like my favorite thing in the entire world right now. I read it in 2015 and I have loved it ever since. I have even reread it. I love it. It is a very different story and it's very sometimes hard to follow, but if you just get invested in it, it is so amazing and I love it. And then the next one is any of the Chronicles of Nick's books. Like, if you're new here, also the Chronicles of Nick, it has been my favorite series since I was 12. I even have a tattoo of it, so I just put those in one, and that is like its own one thing. Number 10 is Beaver tells us about an annoying but important main character, and I chose Margo from Paper Towns. Margo is kind of a bitch and she's annoying and she uses Quentin, but I feel like she's vital to this story because it really helps the story move along, and it, I think, makes Quentin realize that, you know, he doesn't need Margo. Question number 11 is Colourful Money. It tells us about the most colorful book you own. That is Shadow Shaper. I haven't read this, but look at that. It's like rainbow and beautiful, and the girl on the cover is absolutely gorgeous, and it's just so pretty, and the spine is so pretty. Like, look at that. It's so pretty. And I haven't read this. I hope too soon because it's really short and I could fly through it, but it's super pretty. And question 12 is say A or eh. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but there you go. So yeah, I will see you guys in another video. Bye!